Okay, hello and welcome to my new Patreon channel, Total English Lessons, where we'll look at vocabulary, skills, and grammar related to one particular topic, with extra PDFs and materials to practice. Today is going to be the first of three lessons looking at something called the British Post Office scandal. And today we're going to look at vocabulary, phrases, collocations, advanced vocabulary that you're going to need to understand this topic. So let's begin. This week's topic and story is that over a long period of time, the British Post Office, where you go to send letters and packages, was, but has been, because it's still continuing, involved in a huge scandal. A scandal, something immoral or illegal, which causes public outrage or anger. Certainly, there's a lot of that in the UK, and afterwards, I think you'll probably feel the same way. So the scandal started because of a bug or software bug, an error in a program which causes problems, and a system or device to not work properly in a new IT accounting system. You might have a bug in your phone which causes it to not work properly. In this case, it meant the system said the people running the branches, individual offices of a larger business or organization, owed money which they didn't. These people are called sub-postmasters. It's a very specific word for the UK Post Office and not one that you need to remember. But this isn't why it was such a big scandal. The scandal comes from the fact that pretty much everyone agrees it was a huge miscarriage of justice. Miscarriage of justice, a useful noun phrase meaning wrongful or unfair official legal outcome or result. And we're going to look at why that was. One reason was the number of victims in the scandal. This wasn't just one or two people. There were lots of victims caught up in the scandal. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many. It's something to think about at the end of this lesson, but there were lots of people. So these people, the sub-postmasters, were given a choice. Either they could repay the money the post office said they owed, but face bankruptcy, officially, legally have no money, be unable to pay debts, collocates nicely with the verb face, or they would be prosecuted and potentially convicted and go to prison. Prosecution, the overall process of trying to say someone is guilty, and a conviction is finding someone legally guilty. Some people, however, chose to fight these prosecutions, but they had long and expensive legal battles. Legal battles are very useful collocation, meaning lawsuits, legal disputes in court, etc., over a long period of time. But again, what makes this such a big scandal is that while all this was happening, the post office was actively trying to cover it up. Cover up, a phrasal verb, meaning when a company, organization, sometimes even a government, tries to hide something negative or wrongdoing, something they've done wrong. Cover up, the phrasal verb, you can make the noun by pushing the words together, a cover-up. So this went on for many years, and you'll find out exactly how long next lesson. However, eventually journalists started to investigate the story, speaking to whistleblowers who told them what was happening. A whistleblower, again, useful word, meaning a person, usually in the company, who exposes or reveals wrongdoing, the negative thing that is happening. So because of these articles in magazines and newspapers, documentaries on TV, people and the general public gradually became more aware of the story. So the government launched a public inquiry. An inquiry, an investigation, a public inquiry, an official government investigation, and it collocates best with launch, although you could use set up, meaning to create, and also hold. And because of the inquiry, many, but not all, of the wrongful convictions started to be overturned. Overturn, a specific term to mean reverse a legal decision. Some of those people received compensation, payment for loss or harm, but not everyone. And sadly, some of the victims died during the long scandal and didn't receive any justice. So that brings us to the present day. The scandal is still ongoing. Many of the wrongful convictions haven't been overturned, and many of the victims haven't received compensation or justice. And the big question is whether those in charge of the post office at the time will be held to account. Hold someone to account, usually used in the passive, be held to account, be responsible for, and possibly face punishment for wrongful actions. So now that I've told you the story, I've just got 3 questions for you to think about before next lesson. I said that this scandal has been going on a very long time. How many years do you think that is? I said there were lots and lots of victims caught up in the scandal. How many people do you think we're talking about? And the software bug meant the system mistakenly said that people owed money. How much money do you think they were asked to repay? The answer may surprise or shock you. Either you can wait until next lesson and I'll tell you the answer, or on my Patreon there is a PDF with a gap fill exercise practicing all the vocab we've learnt this lesson. Go there, complete the gap fill, and it will tell you the answers. If you're there, you can just click on it, or the link to my Patreon is available below. So finally today, a more open question for you to think about. Imagine you were accused of stealing money from a business that you ran, a branch of the post office. Would you repay this money that you didn't owe? And this could be a very large amount of money. Or would you fight it, face prosecution, potentially be convicted, and go to prison? It's a very difficult question, but this is the question these people were faced with. I've set that up as a poll on the Patreon. Make sure you answer it. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. Anyway, that's basically it for today. Do make sure to check out the Patreon page, link in the description. You can vote in the poll about what you would do in their situation. Also take advantage of the PDF, practicing today's vocabulary. And I've got the PDF for tomorrow's skills-based lesson there. Basically, I've given you a load of jumbled events from the story, and you have to put them in order. So do make sure you do that, guys. Other than that, I hope it's been useful, interesting. It's been enjoyable doing something different, so I'd be interested to hear your feedback. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for another lesson on the post office scandal.